Thank you, Mr. President, for agreeing to this interview.
Thank you very much.
With the repeat presidential election due on Thursday, a lot of Kenyans are concerned about the state of the nation. They feel that we are hurling towards this sort of precipice, at the end of which many fear chaos, violence, some sort of disintegration of law and order. What do you have to say to Kenyans, and especially those who may want to vote on Thursday?
I want to reiterate what I've always stated, that Kenyans have nothing to fear in exercising their constitutional right. We have ensured that the IEBC, which is the constitutionally mandated commission that is supposed to oversee this election, has been properly funded in accordance with the Supreme Court ruling in order for them to be ready and prepared. They have given us their assurance that they are prepared. Secondly, we have ensured that our security agencies as a nation are properly deployed to ensure that every single Kenyan who desires to vote is able to do so with a guarantee of his or her security. So I want to assure Kenyans that there is no reason to fear. Thirdly, we have also told our colleagues who are in the opposition that they have every right under the Constitution not to participate if they so choose. But as I said on Mashujaa Day, one right does not override another. Just as much as they have the right not to participate, they should not interfere with the right of those who wish to participate. So that on the 26th, all Kenyans, those who desire to vote, those who desire not to vote, must each be guaranteed their constitutional right to exercise their will. And the state is prepared to do so and prepared to give guarantees and safety and security to both groups, those that desire to vote, those that don't desire to vote. And again, as I even told my colleague who we are competing with, please, you have decided not to be on the ballot, you have decided to ask your supporters to stay away from the ballot, fine. Please respect the wishes of those who desire to be on the ballot, and those that desire to vote on the 26th. That way, right, we have peace. That way, we have stability. And that is the essence of democracy at the end of the day.
And yet, even when you're talking about security, the opposition has alleged that there has been a hard crackdown on its supporters, either during riots where we've seen some people killed. They've gone as far as to allege that there are plans to deploy the military during the election.
This is not the first time, Anne. If you recall, during the elections of the 8th of August, they made the same allegations. I want a single individual to produce evidence of where the military was deployed. Nowhere. The military was deployed to protect Kenya's borders, to protect Kenyans' sovereign integrity. The police are the ones, plus other internal agencies, that were deployed to oversee the security of the election of August the 8th. And that is there and available. There were observers, there were everybody. There was no presence of the military. So again, now today, they repeat the same. This is propaganda. This is just an attempt to create fear, right? And I want to assure you that we are very clear, of the role of the various agencies. We support our military to protect our borders. We support our military when they are working with neighboring countries to stabilize the region. We use our military in the event of national disasters and calamities. As today, they are part and parcel of helping distribute water in areas that have been stricken by drought, right? But we have no intention ever to use our military to suppress the democratic will of the people.
What about the police and the way they have cracked down on protesters? They say that they've used disproportionate force.
The police have not cracked down on protesters. The police have cracked down on rioters. And there is a big difference between a peaceful demonstrator and a rioter who steals from women on the street, a rioter who destroys goods and robs women who are doing small trade of selling their vegetables and their fruits and their sodas in their kiosks, etc. Right? Our police are against those who are stoning cars and matatus of people who just want to go about their business. And I have repeated severally. In fact, just this morning I was watching massive demonstrations in Barcelona, right? Where people were protesting peacefully. And that is what I keep saying. I saw also here in Kenya the other day, right? One of the NASA leaders, I think it was the women rep. And she was escorted by police peacefully, no problem. My administration will never deny the Kenyan any right that is guaranteed to them under the Constitution. And the right to demonstrate and picket peacefully is enshrined in our Constitution. The right to riot, to destroy property, to rob is not enshrined in our Constitution. So our friends who desire to demonstrate do so peacefully in accordance with the Constitution, right? But my administration will not allow riots, will not allow destruction of property, will not allow lives to be endangered under the guise of peaceful demonstration.
You've talked about your main challenger who has since pulled out of the race, Raila Odinga, asking his supporters to stay away. And that may prescribe a situation where millions of Kenyans do not vote. How do you think this will affect the legitimacy of Thursday's election?
I don't believe it will affect the legitimacy in any way. I continue to, as he continues to call for people not to vote, which again is their democratic right, which again, even in a constituency, if you record 0 vote, yeah, so long as the returning officer says nobody participated, that is a Kenyan exercising the democratic right.
And so you're confident you'll meet the constitutional threshold in terms of representation from the requisite counties?
We already have reached the threshold. If you look at the representation that we have in the National Assembly, if you look at the representation we have in the Senate, if you look at the representation that we have in terms of governors, if you look at the representation we have in women rep, if you look at the representation that we have in governors, and I believe Kenyans are tired. Kenyans want to move forward. They want to be over this election so that they can get about their daily business, right? And it is unfortunate, without a doubt, that my colleague has chosen not to participate in this election after spending huge amounts of resources after he petitioned and was granted by the Supreme Court the right to a repeat election. And after all of us as Kenyans spending huge amounts of money to prepare for this repeat election. But despite that, it is still his constitutional right not to participate. And all we're asking is, don't interfere with the constitutional right of those who wish to participate, right? So to vote and to vote are rights that are enshrined, you know, for all. Those who don't wish to participate, they're making their statement. Those who do participate are also making their statement, yeah? And it is the will of those that are the majority that will take the day.
IEBC, which you've talked about and said that they have assured you that they're ready, have talked about being prepared technically, but the chairman, Chebukati, has also said that the political environment is unsuitable. To that end, he has called for talks between yourself and Raila Odinga. Are these joint talks something that you're willing to go into, and you have preconditions?
Let me put it this way. Chebukati has been given a mandate by the people of this republic to prepare this country for an election. He has been given the resources by the Kenyan taxpayer to do so. As a government, we have made no single demand on him to do anything other than prepare this country for a ballot. The political space should be left to the competitors. So I would only just encourage you, please do that which is in your constitutional mandate.
In politics?
I won't say that. All I'm saying is, let him prepare himself to give Kenyans a platform to exercise their constitutional mandate.
Are you concerned that he may resign during the election process, and how that would affect you?
I won't comment on that. That's, because all I know, and I can say clearly, is that my administration has facilitated him to the maximum. My administration has ensured that we have made no demands from him other than to do his job. So those issues are issues I can't talk about. Maybe he's better able to answer that. All I can say is that as a government, we have facilitated him to prepare, right? And as a political party and as a candidate, right, we are making no demands on the IEBC other than prepare yourselves to allow Kenyans to make their choice.
Are you willing to talk to Raila Odinga, the NASA presidential candidate, before Thursday in a bid to quell tensions?
I put it to you this way. The decision belongs to the people of Kenya. And all I want is the ability of the people of the Republic of Kenya to make their choice. And once they've made their choice, because they are choosing between two different platforms, a NASA platform that has its agenda and a Jubilee platform that has its agenda and policies. I believe that the most important hurdle we need to overcome is the people of Kenya to make a decision between these two platforms. Now, once that's done, right, whoever wins has a responsibility to know that you carry not just your supporters, but the whole country, and to be able to address yourself to the issues that both your supporters and those who don't support you have raised, right? But the most important thing in any democratic nation is that the choice must first belong to the people. And that is why our Constitution says that sovereign power resides not in Uhuru Kenyatta, not in Raila Odinga, but in the people of the Republic of Kenya.
Choose first, talk later.
Absolutely.
All right. As we wind up, Mr. President, you've talked about being able to carry the entire country. And there are those who argue that they feel in the last few months that they don't feel that they've been carried by yourself as President of the Republic, but they've seen more of the Jubilee candidate. Should this election go your way and a possible victory is upheld, how do you intend to bring the country together, and especially those who feel that they have been ostracized?
By continuing with the process that we have carried out for the last 4 years. That our development agenda, our track record, our ability to deliver services across the country, regardless of where you come from. We are proud of the fact that we have delivered resources in areas that were previously marginalized. We're seeing tarmac roads. We're seeing cesarean sections in Mandera. We're seeing electricity in areas that never dreamed that they would have electricity in their lifetime. This is the way. By showing Kenyans, when we start saying that we want free secondary education for all our children, we're not targeting children from one area or another. We're targeting children across the country. It is through the actions of a government in terms of creating equity and equitable development that brings a nation together. We have always said, and that is why I say, look even at the few positions that we were able to fulfill post the 8th of August election. Jubilee has made it very clear. We have a man from Bungoma who is now the Speaker of the Senate. We have a man from Kakamega who is the Chief Whip in the National Assembly. These are not areas that we got a lot of votes, right? But we have given them, we have as the Deputy Leader of the National Assembly, we have a man from Kisii as the leader of the majority party in the National Assembly. We have a man from Garissa. We have given these positions to show that our objective is to have an inclusive government, right? That we are willing to incorporate people even in areas where we didn't get votes, right? As our party Secretary General, we have law, right? Because I believe in the principle that a man must be judged by the content of their brain, not from where they come from, not from who they are, but their ability to contribute to the betterment of this nation. And I will continue with that agenda even as we move forward.
You've called for nationwide prayers, and you know, many in the Jubilee administration have almost boasted that you know, Jubilee is a God-chosen leadership. When you listen to a section of your supporters, they draw the parallel between this Jubilee and something more spiritual. If you believe, and I wonder if you do, that you owe your position right now to God, then in what way, or what is it that you think you owe him in the way you govern?
First and foremost, I don't believe that we as Jubilee supporters believe we are God-chosen. What we believe is that we are a God-fearing party. What we believe is that we are a party that believes in the power of God. What we believe is that Jubilee, right, represents the will, you know, of the people. And what we believe is that we should use whatever authority that has been bestowed on us through the people of Kenya. And as they say, the voice of God is the voice of the people. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And what we believe is that so long as we deliver and commit ourselves to doing that which we have promised the people who have supported us, we are serving God. Because by serving your fellow man, by doing that which they desire, we are serving God. So it's not that we are God-chosen and we feel that we are superior, or we feel we are God-fearing. And we trust that in a nation that is majority God-fearing, that if we put our faith in God, we put our faith in the people of Kenya.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your time, and for all our sakes, we wish you wisdom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful Sunday.